There's no good games to play. Shut up, here's one. Do you love making buildings look like you just took a trip through Cleveland, Ohio? Do you enjoy high-stakes clutch moments that make your opponents punch a hole through the wall? Do you want to play a game that reminds you of the good old days of matchmaking with the boys? Then allow me to introduce you to the finals. Let's start from the top. The finals is an objective-based PvP shooter that I believe is criminally underrated. To me, this game is a breath of fresh air amongst other oversaturated shooter genres such as battle royales, hero shooters, and tactical shooters. Maybe it's my lack of awareness, but I've never seen destructive physics this dynamic in a modern title, with the exception of maybe BattleBit, which looks like a potato. Like seriously, the finals makes the destruction physics of Rainbow Six Siege look straight up archaic. This takes me back to the Battlefield 3 days, where you could level a building with just some C4. Except, the finals takes the destruction up a couple notches. It puts my monkey brain neuron activator on overdrive, knowing I could just huff and puff and blow another team's shit down at any point. The finals has a ton of gameplay mechanics and features that make this game just as satisfying as Subway Surfers videos under Family Guy clips. So today, we're going to explore why I believe the finals is my personal game of the year, and why you should give it a try. Come on, I ain't gonna hurt you. I promise, I wouldn't lie to you.
Give your meat a good old rub. That's it. Nice and hot. Hot and spicy meat. Yeah, boy.
At the time of writing, we were between the tail end of Season 3 and the beginning of Season 4. However, it should be noted to you, dear viewer, that I've been playing this game since the release at the beginning of Season 1. Since then, I've been captivated by the gameplay mechanics and the absolutely gorgeous sense of style that this game brings to the table. The finals doesn't have all that much lore on the surface, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the basic premise is that you are a contestant in the greatest game show in the world. This game show takes place in a virtual reality space, and a lot of parallels can be drawn between this and something like Ready Player One for its world building, which I think is pretty cool. Additionally, I think some of the graphics and the sense of style that this game brings to the table is some of the best of current gen in comparison to other shooters. So as of Season 4, the finals features 2 ranked game modes, which are World Tour and Ranked Cash Out. There are also casual quick play game modes for all of us 9-to-5 job having casual gamers with lives to live. These game modes are Quick Cash, Power Shift, Casual Terminal Attack, and Bank It. Most of these game modes features teams of 3 except for Terminal Attack and Power Shift. So, if you only have 2 friends like me and want to eat sand with your bros, this is the perfect game for you. Now let's talk about the classes. The finals has 3 classes, those being light, medium, and heavy. The light class is your textbook glass cannon, high DPS and mobility with a low health pool. My favorite weapon on the light class is the V9S, but I find myself gravitating towards using the sword. Whenever me and the bros feel like not giving a shit, we'll also run the dagger, only because we enjoy the feeling of making a single kill feel like a big accomplishment. The light class has 3 specializations, that being cloak, evasive dash, and grappling hook. The light class also has a bunch of utility options, such as sonar grenade, which pings enemies through walls, glitch grenade, which prevents your enemies from using their equipment or changing weapons, and breach charges and thermal bore, which allow you to open up objectives. The medium class has less mobility but more health, and has many support options for your teammates. The medium class has 3 specializations, the dematerializer, the turret, and the healing beam. My preferred medium loadout leans towards support more than lethality, The medium class gives players the greatest number of tools to make galaxy brains that I am too simple-minded to pull off. For example, you can use a dematerializer to send your opponents into the Shadow Realm, or yoink an objective from underneath a defending team. The name of the game for medium is utility. That's not to say it doesn't have lethal options. You can never go wrong with the AKM or the FAMAS for reliable damage, but using the zipline and jump pad to your advantage to help your team where they need to go, finally we get to the heavy class. The heavy class, meanwhile, has low mobility, much like your mom, and has the highest health pool. It is also the only class in the game to have 4 specializations. Those are Charged Slam, Goo Gun, Mesh Shield, and the Winch Claw. When equipped properly, Heavy can be downright oppressive. I would say that most Heavies I encounter will be equipped for short range. That was until the release of Season 4 where they gave the Heavy dual-wield Desert Eagles, which is fucking goated. My god, this sends me back to the good old days. That said, when you're playing the Heavy, you gotta be very strategic because of your low movement speed and subpar ranged options. The trick to playing Heavy is to take almost every engagement on your terms, and luckily you have plenty of options to do so. I would say that the Heavy strong suit is definitely CQB encounters. My personal favorite loadout uses either the Winch Claw with the Sledgehammer or the Goo Gun with the Flamethrower. The Winch Claw is great for chasing down an enemy or separating them from their team. It also provides utility if you wanted to grab one of your down teammates' trophies, or if you wanted to yoink the cash out from the enemy that's currently capturing. Now I just threw a lot at you and way oversimplified some of the class highlights. Nothing I have said so far does this game's class system justice, and the best piece of advice I can give you is to try this for yourself. Something else you should know is that the finals is a live service game. Hang on, this one is not stinky. Hear me out. With the finals being a live service game, it receives regular updates through each season. Typically these will be bug fixes and balance patches. Some of these balance patches are minimal, and others not so much. It's a pretty common joke on Are the Finals that every update comes with a new nerf to the Heavy, which is kinda on point. While I don't agree with every change that Embark has made, I wouldn't say that they've produced anything game-breaking or fun-ruining. Except the taser, fuck this thing. Pause, real quick. My balance hot take is that the taser should be removed from the light and either given to Heavy or removed from the game entirely. I will not take any questions. Anywho, each class shares some equipment and grenade types, but all their weapons and specializations are exclusive to those classes. A really nice feature of the finals is it allows you and your teammates to all pick the same exact class and loadouts even if you wanted. That said, all 3 classes have a lot of synergy between them, allowing you and your dingus pals to play your loadouts off of each other. On the other hand, you could do what I like to call oops all lights and only go light with dagger, smokes, vanishing bomb, and have an absolute blast while you're getting turned into a liquid after flubbing a backstab.
Nice. I don't know if I can. I'll try. I got him. We gotta get some gas on there again. Up top at the light. Oh, he sees me. Get him, get him, get him, no! Just grab me. It's over. We just gotta keep it. Just run, no!
We're just so stupid,
The
brother.
cash out. No. It's okay, it doesn't matter. It was like we just don't let them start another.
Why is he teabagging? We won! They're mad, dude. They're so mad. Look at her kills!
So I've talked about the classes, loadouts, and destruction. Now let's talk about the most important part of the finals, the gameplay loop. But before I go into the why, let me tell you a story. In the middle of making this video, a good friend of mine got into a motorcycle accident and broke his right wrist, requiring him to get some surgery. This tragedy would leave him undeterred as the finals calls for him. So, in the land of Mordor, in the fires of Mount Doom, the Dark Lord Banana Cat Matt forged in the open an input device to play one-handed. And into this setup he poured his cruelty, his malice, and his will to make his teammates question their life choices. One, two input devices to backstab them all. Yes, you're seeing this correctly. You're watching Matt absolutely carry us with just one hand. He streams on Twitch every now and then. Go check him out. Anywho, all of this is a testament as to how satisfying and addicting the gameplay loop of the finals is. Unlike a lot of other arena shooters, the finals doesn't have lanes or power weapons. You could argue that there are power spots where you have advantage, but the main thing to consider is that in every engagement, it's the destruction physics, equipment, and arena carryables. See, the finals let you choose much about how you go about each engagement. You can choose to go in guns blazing, or you could destroy a wall behind the objective and try to get your opponents off guard. Or you and your team could be a bunch of dipshits and try to third-party the objective and capture it last second. Fucking rats. The point is, players are given a lot of flexibility in how they handle each encounter, which is a rare thing to see in a lot of shooters where player bases tend to exclusively use meta strategies and weapons, whereas the finals provides a lot of classes the tools necessary to deal with almost every situation when properly equipped. This leads to most encounters feeling relatively balanced. Additionally, because of the flexibility of the battlefield and classes, most matches feel fresh and different from the last. As a result, the overall gameplay loop is very satisfying. Now let's talk about the maps. The finals has a wide variety of maps to play on, each with their own gorgeous aesthetics and playstyle. Each map also has its own sub-variants such as day-night, moving platforms, and floating platforms. While some of the maps may share building assets, each map feels very distinct thanks to a ton of polish and attention to detail. In particular, I think Kyoto 1597 is one of the most gorgeous multiplayer maps I've ever played on any game period. It's something I really didn't know that I wanted. It's this aspect that lets the finals provide so much variety to its players. There's seriously nothing I could really say about this game that gives it justice. Just play this for yourself. Holy crap, how have I not talked about the music yet? The finals has one of the best original soundtracks in any video game I have ever heard, period. Every season comes out with 6 to 8 original bangers, and they are one of the most anticipated features that I wait for every season. My favorite track is... okay, I'm not gonna say all that. Let's just call it Syntax CNS, which has been in the background of this section. This is one of my favorite tracks because it sounds like something that was composed for a Commodore 64. I love the final soundtrack because the music almost always matches the aesthetic for every season. Add this with the amount of variety that each season brings to the table, almost every song feels purposeful and distinct from one another. And variety is definitely a good word to describe the soundtrack. You have bombastic orchestral themes, retro electronic ballads, and Japanese jazz music. Not to sound like a nerd on Maine, but I unironically listen to the final soundtrack on my commute to work, and it's simply just because it's really enjoyable to me. If they ever release these albums on vinyl, I would unironically buy them, and I'm not much of a merchandise kind of guy, I just really enjoy this music. So, not to cut this video short, but every time I was typing on the script, it just kept getting longer and longer, and by the time that I went to go release this, it was already halfway through Season 4. I started at the very tail end of Season 3. I have a bad habit of procrastinating. But here's my rough conclusion. The finals is great, and you need to give it a shot for yourself. Seriously, give this a shot. Just do yourself a favor. There's no risk. It's free. The cosmetics are pretty fucking dope, I'm not gonna lie. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave a comment, like, and subscribe, I guess. Have a good one.
Oh, our buddy's taking it.
They don't know we're there. Oh my god!
It's ours. Oh my god. Oh, fucking mine hurts so bad.
Help! He just fucking suicide bombed.
Guys, that was a